Hello and welcome back to the offer negotiation lesson, a part of the Careers by Design course on Canvas. So in this video, we are going to talk about preparing for the offer negotiation. Okay, so preparing to negotiate. So the first place that you should look for information is internally. So what things are most important to you when you think about your asks? And by asks, I mean the things that you are going to negotiate during the job offer. Keep in mind that if you're interviewing for a couple of different jobs and positions, and you receive offers for multiple positions at once, your asks might change with every job offer depending on what the opportunity is presenting. So for example, flexibility in your schedule might be number one for you in a certain role because you're actually really happy with the salary. And in another opportunity, the salary might be the number one negotiating factor because you're not as happy with the salary. That's just one example. If you're feeling stuck, there is a career values inventory that you can take. So if you go to the Canvas course and then you click on helpful resources, you'll find a link to this career values inventory. So it lists different pieces of a job offer and it helps you to rank them at figuring out what is most important and least important to you for that specific job. When you're preparing to negotiate, you want to do market research, both online and through your network, to figure out what the going rate is for your current position. Understand that when you do arrive at the negotiating table, this is going to be a conversation that happens in real time. So it can either be in person or via Zoom or on the phone, but as long as both parties have the ability to respond in the moment, that is the place where you're going to do the negotiation. Do not ever negotiate via voicemail or email. So as I mentioned, you want to do a little bit of online research to figure out kind of what your market value is in the present market. These are just a couple of resources that are some of our favorites in the Career Design and Development Office. Links to all of these resources are located in the Canvas course. So we have Glassdoor, PayScale, Salary.com, LinkedIn salaries. That's kind of has limited data at this time, but depending on your industry, there is good data for if your industry is part of the data that is included on LinkedIn, the data is reliable. And ONET is also a good resource to use when gathering salary data. Also continue, leaning on your professional associations or professional associations that are related to your industry. A lot of times they come out with salary data or salary surveys with information about market value relating to current positions in their industry. Talking to other people is super valuable. So speaking to your mentors that are working in an industry that you are working in, networking, talking to any colleagues, friends, anyone in the field, anyone who has previously worked for that employer, especially if it's within your role or the department that you're hiring in, just to see if you can gauge an idea about a range that the employer is expected to work within. So talking to people is always really helpful. Also look at the job posting. Sometimes salary is listed on the job posting, a range, so make sure that you're revisiting that. And if you just have received an offer from a nonprofit organization, you should Google the name of the nonprofit followed by 990. So nonprofits are required to make their 990 tax return public. So if you just Google the name of the organization with 990 after it, it hopefully that year's or the previous year's 990 filing will pop up. So your position exactly might not be represented on the 990, but nonprofits do have to report the salaries of, I think maybe it is their top 5 highest earners or something like that. So you can kind of get a range, if you're looking to be the director of marketing, you could maybe get an idea of what the vice president of marketing is making, and then you'll kind of know what maybe the top of your range could be. So before you negotiate, you want to make sure that you know your bottom line. So what do you want and what are you willing to accept? Sometimes I call this the wish, want, and walk. So you should have a number that you would wish for. So this is a number that you feel almost uncomfortable to ask for. You should have a number that you want. So if the employer is able to give you that figure, you know that you'll accept the job. And then you should have a walk figure. So this is a figure that if the employer is offering below this figure, you can't accept the position because you just can't make ends meet and you have to walk away. Make sure that you know, again, current salary data. Keep in mind the location of your employer and where you'll be living and living conditions, your experience level and your skills. Keep all of those in mind when you're looking at salary data. Understand your value. So what are you bringing to the table for this specific opportunity? How do you meet or exceed the requirements that were presented in the job description? Your priorities. So remember that your leverage decreases with every ask. So if you're going to the negotiating table with 3 pieces of the offer that you would like to negotiate or 3 things that you want to ask for, list your most important ask first. So you'll want to ask for that first and then go back in order of what is most important to you relating to your priorities. Also be prepared with your reasoning. So you don't just want to ask for something, you want to also have reasoning to back up the request that you are going to make to your future employer. And this request should explain your value, but also be related to the future employer's goals as well. All right, so in the next video, we are going to talk about an outline for the negotiation conversation. See you there.